Stupid thing. Now it's fine. I don't know why OBS does that. I had it all set and it changed the default for some reason. So I just changed it to this microphone. Okay. That one was not on me. That was because I restarted my computer over the weekend. That's why. Anyway, welcome to Mondays with Max, the unmuted version. At least it was supposed to be the unmuted version. Geek of all trades. And he's back. So anyway, good to see you all. Appreciate you guys all for being here. Let's see who is here tonight. Travelers Travels is first. Steven Cicero, Burn, D Parrish, Nick Riley, Crypto Crag, Gaming with Smokey Dan, Road Puts, Son of a Rabbit, NJ Web Solutions, Geek of all trades, the GOAT. It's a fucking goat. Little Time Mining, the Toxic Miner, Hiram. Good to see you, sir. Glad you could catch me live for a change. Mining of the North, Black Hat Team, Vinny Del Greco, Martin, Red Panda, the Red Panda. Gosh, back from vacation, he's watching my live stream instead of getting rest. Amazing. Thank you for being here. He's probably here just because he knows what I'm going to talk about tonight. Integra Guy 041, not to be confused with 042. All set. Shides. Let's see. Who else did I not? No Excuse. Paddywhack Miner. Joker Miner. Hi, son. Let's see. Who else? Who else did I miss?
Bacon, Eggs, and Hash is here.
Bacon, Eggs, and Hash is here. I was just informed.
The Mining King is here too.
I haven't gotten down that far. Galaxy 9 Synthesis. I'm scrolling, and I'm sorry if I miss anybody. I'm trying to scan quickly. The Mining King I see. Smash the Like Bros is here. Sunflower Mama, of course, is here. Patrick Duncan, Gaming for Fun. And we said Bacon, Eggs, and Hash. Let me just see. Not James. Todd Tebow. Now I'm going up a little bit. And I think I pretty much hit everybody. I'm sorry if I missed you, but thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. All 64 of you so far. So this weekend, did a few things. And so the first thing, oh, wait a minute. I gotta show you the before picture first. All right. So that was the before picture. So about a week to 2 weeks ago, I had ordered. All right. You're going to make me work for this, huh? I'll scoot over. What I should do is change to a different, let's see. Nope, that's not it. There we go. We'll change to that one. So, a few weeks ago, I'm still having issues with not getting the speed that I should be getting on my Vasta rigs. Speed test CLI stinks, and I have not fully committed myself to figuring it out, but I was trying to get rid of possible hardware issues. So I've done I did an iPerf test. It's fine. It's not having anything to do with any of the hardware or anything like that. All that's checking out. So, but the last thing I wanted to try was making sure I had Cat 6A cable because I had Cat 5E cable. So I switched it all to Cat 6A, got many different lengths so that it wasn't all over the place like this. And so because I was going to be making a change to the power panel, I figured this is a perfect time to rewire this since I'm going to be taking everything down anyway, and I'm going to be losing who's renting Vast. I'm going to have to get new renters, all that kind of stuff. So of course I did go on Vast and said, hey, this is going to be an hour to 2 hours. Actually, I said 2 hours is what I'm going to be down. So they were all informed. They knew it was coming. So anyway, so before we turned everything off, we did this instead. So this was the before picture. And this is the after picture. little bit cleaner. Now it's not perfect. You know, this wire on the right-hand side hasn't been tied in. And this wire on the left-hand side hasn't really been tied in. And there's a couple things that can be cleaned up, but for the most part, you can see the stuff goes straight out the back for most things that it can. There's a few things that actually ties directly into, actually like goes in through the rack. So basically it feeds up like this one up here. This one, it actually comes up and then comes out the middle of the rack directly where it needs to be. So anyway, I'm happy with it. Did it solve any of my speed problems? Nope. No, it did not. But that's okay. Like I said, I like the look of it better, and I know that there'll be more consistency with speed than with Cat 5e. Because I did notice on the iPerf test, I was getting a little bit of ups and downs with the speeds. So I think this will make it more consistent. So anyway, definitely very happy with that. And then the other thing I did is I installed, let me go to this way, right? Yeah. I installed Emporia View, their third version, and did this for a couple of different reasons. The main reason was so that I could monitor the specific circuits that I'm mining and doing VAST on and everything, so that I don't have to like make an estimate as to how much power my house is using for that versus other things. I have been very, very conservative in what I'm claiming on my taxes. The reason why is because I'm estimating how much power we used before I started mining, and actually looking at how much we used prior to getting solar when I had 2 teenagers in the house. So more computers, more people using power in the house. So definitely we use less power for the house than we did back then. Plus, I don't think we had made as many things that were LEDs, and so a lot of other things. So that's going to be great for being able to say definitively, this is how much I'm generating power for the money-making activities in the house. One caveat to that is it assumes 240 volts or 120 volts. It doesn't take into account the variation of voltage as far as how much power it is using. So in other words, it's measuring current.
You're giving everyone super bad anxiety with those cables.
Yeah, the cables will get fixed, people. Okay, fine, I'll take it down.
Okay, Red Panda doesn't have a problem with that.
Wow. Thank you, Red Panda. I appreciate that. So anyway, the reason why that hasn't been cable managed yet is because I have to take a little bit more effort to try to figure out which circuit the microwave is on. Believe it or not. So because we've had a bunch of changes when we put in the 240 circuit, some things got doubled up. When we put in the basement, the guys who were doing the basement moved some things around and really only tagged the things that were for the basement and messed some things up upstairs. So there's some things we got to figure out, but we will get there. I'm not overly concerned about that. But I do need to figure out where that is. Once I figured that out, then I'll be able to cable manage and close it up, because that's really the only thing. But anyway, so being able to figure out the power that I'm using is going to be great. The other thing is a couple of other interesting things, and I will take it off of this because I will take it to, yes, I'm still with you. There we go. This is basically all the circuits that I'm currently monitoring. The balance, which is about 290 watts, seems like a lot, but it's spread out over 9 circuits pretty evenly. So surprising how much power can be just used in different rooms for clocks and different things. But anyway, the one thing I found interesting, a couple of things I found interesting. So I was curious how much my AC took. So right now you can see, and I'll actually trigger this. You can see, where's the furnace? Furnace is about 190 watts. I have that like a low power fan that runs most of the time to keep the air moving in the house. And I'm gonna basically right now trigger it. It'll go on in a few minutes. And then you'll see the AC pop to the top and you'll see how much it is. But what you're gonna find is that the AC runs at about 1600 to 1700 watts, and the furnace will jump up, and already has. It's jumped up to about, well, it'll settle back down. It jumps up by about 200. Oh no, it actually jumped up by more like 400, 3 to 400 watts. When I looked at it before, it was only 240. So anyway, somewhere in that range. So you're looking at the AC running at just below 2000 watts when it runs. The oven, which we ran tonight, that runs at 2.5 kilowatts, 2500 watts. I was surprised. I didn't think it was that much. We don't use it a ton, especially in the summer, but we use it at night for dinner. That's the main thing we use it for. And then the other really interesting thing was we have a washer and dryer from 1991. If anybody's got an old washer and dryer, do not get rid of it. So if you look up how much a current washer is supposed to use as far as power, it says it uses about 1500 watts. The old ones, because all they do is have a motor and there's no like brains, it's all mechanical, is 750 watts. I have a high efficiency washer that was made in 1991. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe that. I got a super chat. I did. Where is it? It's not. There is. Oh, there it is. Mining King, what's an iPerf? I'm a noob. Teach me. Okay. That's funny because he's the one who taught me the iPerf and how to do the iPerf. So iPerf is basically, I'm not sure exactly what it means or anything like that. I can tell you that it measures bandwidth between two devices in your house. So if you're trying to test your networking to see what your bandwidth is, like say you have a 10 gig network and you want to, oh, cool, I have a 10 gig network. Is it actually 10 gig? You can set things on either end to, one is this, I think one set is the server, one set is the receiver, something like that. You can run a one-way test or a two-way test. So it's pretty cool. It's just all command line stuff. So anyway, but thank you for the $2 super chat, Mr. Mining King. Much appreciated. So anyway, so that's what I did this weekend, which I'm very, very happy about. I like being able to monitor things and see what's going on. The other thing that I really liked about this is the fact that I have a lot of 120 circuits that I'm using. The den, the basement bath, the bar outlets, and the basement outlets. So I'm using all of those. And while I was pretty sure I was within the limits, I couldn't be positive. So now I'm positive because I can see that it's just fine. Now you can see that the it's actually only 1400 watts right now. So the AC's out. As soon as you make one, Mining King, since you were the person that taught me. So I was not planning on making an iPerf video because it wasn't really that interesting. I needed it, but it would probably be my worst performing video of all time. But hey, no, who knows? It could be, what do they say? Evergreen content. So there you go. All right. So that was what I did this weekend. Let me see the comments and then we'll head into other things. I got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. So I'm partially amped up because, oh my God, today's day at work was bad. Make myself embiggen me. Embiggen myself. Got it. Embiggen myself. There we go. Oh, and there we go. The super chat just showed up. And that was that finger. I thought it looked weird when I did it, but anyway. All right, so let me head back to the people that tagged me. All right, let me go back down. Yes, I know I'm muted. Welcome back to the world of sound. Thank you, Mr. Gaming with Smokey Dan. It's because he doesn't have a flannel on, guys. Yeah, it's summer, guys. Flannel season is over. There may be the occasional flannel. I think Sunflower Mom may be going to get a flannel for me. I don't know. Or maybe she's going to get something else. Anyway, King of all trades. I wondered if somebody might do that. Oh my gosh. So TPS Miner said, I just noticed. Oh, behind the spaghetti. Yes, I was actually in that picture. Yes, I was. I was in the back. So what I decided, I was trying to figure out, should she be in front or be in the back? Should I be in the back? I was kind of like, nah, the front is easier. I can basically pull on the cable that I want her to switch out. She feeds the one back to me, and then I say, okay, unplug and plug this one in, and then I plug it into the one that I was unplugging. So it just worked out better that way. Oh, that was one of the other things was sorry, bouncing around a little bit, but going back to the Emporia view, and I will be putting out a video. I apologize now. Sunflower Mama was videotaping it, and I didn't notice she was doing it in portrait mode. That's my fault. And so it will be in portrait mode, but that's all right because it kind of works, because guess what? The electrical box is kind of in portrait mode, so it'll work. It'll work. Okay. Oh, Swamp 7 speed test CLI is only single threaded. Interesting. Maybe you can tell me how I can fix that so that it actually shows what the speed should be. I've tried using the Vast Tools solution and it hasn't seemed to work. Anyway, Swamp 7, if you have a suggestion on that, please let me know in my DMs. I would appreciate it. All right, scrolling down. Looks good, my dude. Shides, thank you, sir. Looks like a fucking mess, dude. Yeah, the other one did. I made another mess. What? Oh, I see. You guys are all talking about the Emporia. I got it. Yeah, that'll get fixed. If you watch anybody else's videos, they're like, yeah, I need to figure things out because I've got more circuits than 16 to monitor. So you got to figure out which 16 you want to monitor. Yes, Sunflower Mama, this picture gives me so much anxiety. All right, let me scroll down, see what else is tagged. Are you mining with any GPUs? Yes, I am hosting at Terra, as well as I do have 6 GPUs at home that are also mining, as well as anytime so like right now I'm mining with 24090s because I have 2 Vast rigs that are not currently rented, so they are mining. They're currently mining. Everything I'm mining right now is Nexa and Zil. So when you're mining on Vast, though, you can't do dual mining. It has to be single mining. So I'm just mining on Nexa on that one, but the other rigs I'm mining with Zil as well. Let's see. Gaming with Smokey Dan says, so is it an F1 Indy or NASCAR that is powering the microwave? F1 Indy or NASCAR that is powering the microwave? It's just power from the grid. All right, let's see. Oop, jumped on me. Yes, always good to have a positive outlook. And Hawk Crypto says, eating dinner, watching dad, using AI to make YouTube videos. It's a good night. Cool. Yeah, I tried using that service once before. Your friend Andy actually did a video on that quite a while ago, and I tried using it, and it was okay. It was okay. I think it kind of depends on how much you depend on it to make the final product and how much you want to tweak it. I think it's a great thing if you want it to make a video for you and then you fully tweak it. I think that's ideal at this point. Yeah, give me a Smokey Dan. Zil, how dare you? I know, but it's profitable. Why Nexa and Zil? I generally stay on the thing that's most profitable most of the time. I'm not going to constantly be switching and chasing hash rate. So Nex has been pretty consistent lately on the cards that I have as being one of the most profitable. That's not kapow. So that's the key. While the 4090s would be okay that I have in my house on kapow, as well as the cards I have in my house would be fine on kapow. The ones at I personally like to keep my cards running at a cooler temperature, and kapow is going to heat things up. So that's my personal choice. So either a Pyron or Carlson or something like that, or Nex are kind of my go-to coins at this point. And then I'm not holding on to Nexa, so that's not what my end goal is I'm mining Nexa, and then I am selling it and purchasing Neoxa. So right now I'm a little over 2/3 of the way to a Neoxa node. So that is my goal. I'm getting there, guys. Let's see. Smoking Dan, a circuit bad dad joke. Oh, okay. Got it. He was trying to make a joke. Okay. So enough of that. Let's figure out, you know what? Panda's here. If you haven't read his tweet, let me bring it up. I haven't actually brought this one up yet. So give me a second. I didn't do that right. There we go. And there it is. All right, let me change my Outlook here. Wrong thing. No, where the heck did it go? Oh, there it is. So I loved Mining Stacker's meme that he did. It's like, yeah, I think we all had that reaction. But Red Panda got home and he knew that he had an overheating situation in his home's basement. And yeah, he's got some damage. So yeah, he's going to be figuring that out. He's going to vlog that tomorrow, or probably won't be a couple days before he actually gets it on the channel. But yeah, he's going to have some figuring out there. So that is very unfortunate. But I did want to talk about when you go traveling, because you know what? You only live once. You know, you want to travel every once in a while. So figuring out what your plan is, and what can we learn from the, I don't want to say in a way mistakes, but I just want to learn lessons learned, I guess is the best thing. I don't want to concentrate on the negative. I want to concentrate on the positive of learning from this and how can you possibly do it better. Panda was in a situation where he only had a laptop because he was on a cruise and you had to pay for each device. So he paid for his laptop, not his phone. Obviously, you're on a cruise. Yeah, you're going to have your phone with you at all times, but you're not necessarily going to have your laptop with you at all times. So by the time he figured it out, it was too late. But anyway, that aside, unless you're going on a cruise, and my suggestion, if you're going on a cruise, either have somebody else remotely monitor your stuff, or you just shut it off. One of those two is probably the right thing to do when you're on a cruise. Your internet is going to be sketchy as it is. If you have to do something with your stuff remotely, you're going to need reliable connection to make sure it happens. So those are kind of that specific situation. That would be what I would recommend. But your different travel options are, yes, you can just shut off. That is an option. You can have somebody else monitor your stuff. Like I said, those are definitely options when you're on a cruise. Or you can remotely monitor it. But again, you're on vacation. You're supposed to be relaxing, all that kind of stuff. So do you really want to be doing that? Again, personal choice whether or not you shut it off. Me personally, when I leave, I do not shut off. But I do have some things in place. And just for the record, Panda did have a shutoff that you normally have within Hive, that everything shuts off at 90. Problem is that it built up slowly and everything had kind of started to burn before it hit 90. It wasn't a sudden ramp up or anything like that. So everything was already super hot. So that's one of the things he learned, set that temperature at which your rigs either shut down or restart at a lower temperature than 90. Because if it's gotten to 90, you're kind of SOL as far as possible damage, whether it be just maybe even a simple repad and repaste would be necessary at that point. Because anytime you start stressing your cards like that, you're gonna have to repaste them sooner rather than later at that point. The other thing you can do, I know somebody in one of the Twitter responses talked about, here, I can take this away now. Talked about using a Govee temperature monitor, which I do have in the basement, but I actually don't have a high temp alarm on it, which I should. So I will be changing that. I'm definitely going to make sure that I get notifications when it hits different temperatures in the basement. Certainly when it's in the summer and it's 90 degrees outside and it hits 95 in the basement, that is not going to be a big deal. But if it's 60 degrees outside and my basement's 95, yeah, sorry, Houston, we have a problem at that point. So, so definitely it's something that you want to change based upon the outside air temperature as well. Let's see, what else did I talk about here? Yeah, sensors with alarms and notifications. There's a number of things out there. I know Panda will hit on what he uses. I'm not going to go through that, but there's definitely a lot of different options with that. So that's, and and the other thing is, because what happened to him is his exhaust fan failed. So when I was inspecting things, this probably would have been about 2 months ago, I looked at the fan and I could see that there was grease that had come out of the fan and was kind of sitting on the windowsill. Not a lot, but a little bit. And I was like, you know what? It's cheap insurance. Let me get a spare fan, because it's really fast if you can get the same fan to change out that fan. But it takes a day or two to get the fan.
Who would change it out?
I didn't say who was going to change it out. Sunflower Mama made that fan fit the window space. So yes, she would probably be the one that would change it out. Not going to kid anybody. She's the handy one in the family. I'm the electronics guy. So funny thing, I'm the electronics guy. She's the handy person. So guess what? There's no electronics in the washer and dryer. So when something needs to be fixed there, that's her job. Anyway, just the fact that that's what she's the one that ends up fixing it. All right, let me see if I can check anything in the chat. No tags. All right. So we are going to move on to the title of this. And let me go over here. So I didn't want that. Come on. Seriously, I don't want to subscribe. There we go. There we go. Okay. Let me bring up that screen. Okay. So I was going through some news and saw this thing about the BENJI token from Franklin Templeton. It's like, really? So we have major financial institutions that are tokenizing their funds. Nah, really? Yep. Franklin. So I said, okay. Well, let's go through this one first, and then I'll be like, okay, then who else has done it? So tokenization is heating up. This one was mainly done on the Stellar network, which I found interesting. I was kind of like, okay, cool. But then as I was reading through this, they also talk, yeah, here it is. BENJI represents shares in the firm's $380 million Franklin On-Chain U.S. Government Money Fund, or FOBXX, which launched on the Stellar blockchain in 2021. So it's been there for a while. Now, it currently can only be traded through institutions, so it's not open to anybody, at least not yet, but it could be. It says, while the token can be minted on Polygon proof-of-stake blockchain, more than 99% of the supply has been minted on Stellar, a decade-old blockchain that recently began rolling out Ethereum-style smart contracts. So, I won't go through the rest of this because just basically talking about, and then it says last month, BlackRock, the behemoth, made its own foray into tokenization when it launched the BlackRock US Dollar Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund, or BUIDL, BIDL, I'll call it. Investors were able to transfer BIDL at launch. The fund topped 300 million in assets under management, according to DeFi Llama data, though about 90% is concentrated among 5 wallets. Together, Franklin Templeton and BlackRock control 61% of the 1.1 billion tokenized treasuries market, according to that source. So we have big financial institutions that are testing the waters. They're testing the waters as far as, hey, maybe this blockchain stuff ain't so bad. Now, what's interesting is they're calling it tokenization. Okay, this is an asset. Hear me out. This is an asset, and you're tokenizing the asset. What do we call that? It's called an NFT, but NFTs have such a bad reputation amongst non-crypto people that they call it tokenization intentionally instead of calling it what it is, which is an NFT. It's an NFT of that asset. That's the true reason for having NFTs, and they're finally using it. In this, at least in this instance, there's obviously many other things we could use it for, but that's awesome. That is purely awesome. Now, I went in and obviously, you know me, can't just do that. Oh, that's not the right thing. Where did it go? I had another article on it, but basically I went in and looked at the network, and basically talks about, you know, SEC registered transfer agent. So basically it goes this way, and then basically it goes through Ethereum. It's built on the Ethereum network. BlackRock has built a token on the Ethereum network. SEC, are you paying attention? How are you now going to go and say, yeah, Ethereum's is a security, and it's illegal the way it's being done, and we're just not going to allow it in the US? How are you going to do that when the most powerful organization in the world is doing this? I think that's awesome. The more financial institutions that do things like this on Ethereum and other proof of stake, smart contract blockchains, there won't be a way where the federal government can undo it. You can't do the Wayback Machine at that point. You can't do it. So the more we can get adoption like this, there will be no going back. The government will not be able to do it. Period. So anyway, I thought that was all very, 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 very interesting. When I saw this, I was like, holy crap, really? I had no idea. Of course, there's, you know, crypto's a big space, so it's very easy to not know things, but I thought this was pretty cool. All right, if you guys have comments, please tag me with them, unless you guys are just talking amongst yourselves, which is fine and encouraged. Do not see any tags. So maybe I'm just boring you guys all together. Do I prefer proof of stake or proof of work? Well, I prefer proof of work, of course. And actually, we must be a plant, because that was the next thing I was going to go into, which is there is a new debate being talked about. Here, let's start here. Ethereum's transition to proof of stake stirs industry discussions. So you're like, well, duh, but this must be like a year and a half old. No, this is a day ago. So there's new discussions on the fact of what is proof of stake done to Ethereum and put it more in the SEC's crosshairs. And what I find interesting in this discussion, they're not going back to proof of work. It's simple as that. But what I find interesting in this is Vitalik's response is complete and utter BS. And I call him out on it. It's complete BS. And I'll tell you why. And I will be putting out a video on Ethereum and why miners hate Ethereum. And actually, not really just miners, but super chat. Fun fact from Hawk. Did you know that holy crap, $50. Holy cow. Did you know that a descendant from Robert the Bruce, a descendant from Robert the Bruce from Scotland's Revolution wore a mask over his face while fighting crime in his kingdom. He was king and snuck out at night. Hence, Batman was named Bruce Wayne. That's where it's from. Well, thank you. Little trivia there for you, in case you ever need to know that. Thanks for the super chat. Sunflower Mama says she can go buy more yarn now for her addiction. See, her addiction is making shit. Okay, that's a broad term for what you do. Crochet. I was gonna say weave, but it's not weave. Crochet. She definitely has an addiction of crocheting. Now she crochets some really cool stuff. So, and hopefully eventually get an Etsy store. But anyway, all right, back to the subject at hand. So, Mr. Vitalik Buterin, I have a bone to pick with you, sir, because his thing is, well, proof of work was just too centralized. Excuse me? Excuse me? Baking powder? Yeah. Okay. His description of centralization is the fact that there were mining pools that had 30%, 20%, 25% of the hash rate. Not the fact that you had all of these different people mining all across the country. The miners owned the hash rate, not the pools. And they could turn off and turn on whenever they wanted. Now, he also talks about, and this is what really got me, where does it say? He basically, I forget where he says, it's in this article or the other article, where he talks about, well, we also stopped, ASICs from really taking over, because that was what was happening. And then it was going to be even more centralized. And wait a minute. You had the opportunity to make this ASIC resistant with ProgPow. There was and I still believe that that's the reason why Tim Biko took over as the head of the Ethereum devs. I can't think who it was before, but he was for ProgPow. Many of the developers and the people supporting the project were for ProgPow to keep ASICs out. And then ASICs came in, planted people at different spots within Ethereum, and basically drove out everybody. And everybody that didn't want ASICs was ridiculed and made to feel small, kind of like BBT was when he did his whole Ethereum EIP to basically do an alternative solution to 1559 or add something onto EIP 1559 in order to reduce some risk. But the things he's stating is it's like in a vacuum, it all sounds good. But when you take history to it, it's BS. If they had stayed purely GPU like they had planned to do, they would have been decentralized. They would have stayed decentralized. They would have had plenty of hash rate and we'd all be happy as a clam. What they should have done was implemented, because they never had a halving schedule. They just did it whenever they felt like it. They should have implemented a halving schedule. And all of that would have made things much better than they are today. Because right now you have, I think it's like over, it's not quite 50%, but over 40% of Ethereum's staking nodes are on AWS in the United States of America. So you call it a security, and you basically state, nope, you can't pay out these people with the nodes. What do you think is going to happen to those nodes? They're going to be like, oh, well, never mind. Let me just shut those down, because what's the point? And all of a sudden their consensus network goes away. So SEC has way too much power because they went proof of stake. So like I said, are they going to go back? No. Is the SEC really going to do that? No, probably not. But his response is BS, and he knows it. He knows it. But it sounds good to the people who don't know any better, who haven't been around that long. But you look at the history of Ethereum, the way that they went about things along the way, it made them less decentralized, because they allowed ASICs on the network when they had the ability to not allow ASICs on the network. Anyway, that's my rant, because that's some serious bullshit. Alrighty. I feel better. Sorry, I don't know how to say it. J. Durestel 1977. Seriously thought you trolling with your electric box, and did you really make it into spaghetti? No, actually, they're still like, it's just the way that they're wavy. It'll be easy because they're not twisted amongst each other. I did them in such a way that it's done in such a way that they're organized. It's just a matter of you got to zip tie them. That's all. And then put them behind the panel, and then you won't even see it. So that won't be a problem. And Todd Tebow says, I read that. Yeah. All right. I've said my piece, and when I do the piece, I will probably talk about this again. All right. So I talked about BlackRock. I talked about travel. I talked about Ethereum. So the last thing I haven't talked about is what we all need to pay attention to. So we've talked, you guys all know about diversification in any investments that you do. So one of the things that you look at when you are talking about developing a portfolio, and I'm sure many of you have heard this, when you're younger, you should be more stocks than bonds. But as you get older, you want to be in safer investments. So you might be going into, stocks that have dividends as well as more bonds. So they're less risky. Okay. That's the concept. You can argue whether that concept works or not, but that's the concept. And the idea is that you define what percentages you want in each type of those investments. And every so often, you need to rebalance them, because your stocks might go up a bunch. So let's say your stocks go up. So they were originally, say, 40% of your portfolio, but now they're 50% because they've gone up. Well, you need to bring that back down to 40% and reinvest those into your other assets that haven't done as well. And there's a reason for that. It's because things go through cycles. So it's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like dollar cost averaging, but it's different. In the fact that you're taking things that have gone up and you're rebalancing them out and investing in things that haven't gone up. So I'll give you a really good example, because, I love to show this. Where is it? Right there. So we have DJ Mines versus Max Voltage. We have Caspa and LTC. So it's a perfect example. Sure. That's a very risky way of going about things. And I think that there's lots of other things that you could buy. And so I would beg to differ with DJ on this. There's a way of going about it in a less risky way while still having great returns. You can invest in it. And I know, DJ, you have other stocks. So you can invest in NVIDIA. You can invest in Tesla. You can invest in ASML. Invest in other non-tech stocks. And they're all going to have their cycles. So when one has gone up, sell, buy one that hasn't gone up. It will have its time, And then you can go, and then Tesla will come back down, or one of the other stocks, or Nvidia will come back down, and you'll go back into that and rebalance it again. So it's a forced way to make sure that you are selling high, buying low. And really, that's what it comes down to. So in crypto, which is where I'm going with this, so not trying to argue the stocks thing, but I'm just giving you the setup. Okay. In crypto, this actually happens. The whales do this. In the fact that they roll into Bitcoin first, they let it rise up, and then they know, okay, we're getting close. They start rolling out of Bitcoin and rolling into other altcoins because they haven't had their time yet. So me personally, what I will do is, like in this case, I own LTC and Caspa. I sold some of my LTC and rolled it into Caspa to balance it back out. So if I was going against DJ today, would I make that same bet? No. No, absolutely not. And it's a gentleman's bet, so there's no change of money. There's not a monetary figure at all on this. It's just for pride, which we're both very proud people. So anyway, but would I made that bet at this point? No, I wouldn't have. I made the bet because in fact, remember, I said, DJ, LTC is a great buy where it is. What do you think is going to do better at this point? And he picked Caspa. He could have picked any coin. He could have picked absolutely any coin. If he had picked Bitcoin, he'd be sitting pretty right now. Be sitting very pretty. I'm glad he didn't pick Bitcoin, because that's what I was afraid he was going to pick. Because usually Bitcoin goes up first and then other things follow. Although occasionally LTC does lead the market. It did that a couple of times during the last bull run. But anyway, something to keep in mind. There's nothing wrong with selling and reinvesting in something that you think has more opportunity to go up because you've already seen gains in something that has gone up. So keep that in mind. Nothing wrong with rotating your crypto. I'm not saying sell your crypto into cash. I'm not saying that at all. Although selling it into USDT every so often to take advantage of cycles. I used to do this when I worked for Tell Labs. And in my retirement account, if I felt like it was going up, I would sell every day it went up, like 0.5% to 1%. I forget exactly what the number was, but let's just say 1%. But if it went down, I would buy 2%. So I was buying more. Sorry. Probably when it was going up, I was doing about even. But anyway, point being is that I was buying and selling every day based upon whether or not the stock went up or down on that day. If it went down, I was buying. If it was going up, I sold. And it worked out extremely well until it tanked. And I kept doing that, except I'm buying on the way down, trying to catch the knife. So I don't say that that's a good thing to do on a daily basis. And you got to kind of have your finger on the pulse of the momentum, which I didn't get charting and all that kind of stuff at that point, which I understand a lot more now. Never try to really catch the knife. Nothing wrong with taking bites out of it as it goes down. But trying to say, continue doing the same thing over and over and over as it goes down, not a good thing. So anyway, hopefully that helps, but definitely balance out your diversification. Have a set amount. I think DJ has said like 50% is what he has in Bitcoin. I've got a little bit less than that. I got about 40% of my portfolio in Bitcoin, but that's where I want to keep it. So just something to think about. All right. I don't see any tags. No tags. Seriously, people, come on. All right, let me see if I can scroll back up. Martin says, well, you don't know me very well. You're a very knowledgeable and reasonable person. Can you deep dive in Ironfish, and could this be mutual support between GPU miners and Ironfish? Honestly, I got somewhat knowledge about Ironfish at the very beginning, but then I kind of lost interest, honestly. So I have not been mining Ironfish. The last time I looked into it, because I was like, oh, well, it's up there on the chart, I'll just mine it. I remember it being more complicated to mine. It wasn't just simply creating a wallet and mining to a pool. And maybe I'm completely wrong on that, but that was what I recall. So I have not been mining to Ironfish.
All set. Pre-search update.
Pre-search update. Well, I will tell you that Pecunia Joker, I didn't miss your tags. What are you talking about? There's no tags. What are you talking about? I'm looking back. You had one tag. Why no flannel? That's it. And the thing about the dad comment, that was it. And I made a comment on the dad comment, Mr. Joker Miner. Stop trolling.
J. Dewar Stall 1977 wants to know about the GPU sitting on the PC.
Okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Because, wow, I can't remember who sent it to me. No, it was Traveler's Travels, right? You sent it to me, right? The GPU behind me? Am I in top chat? Yeah, I'm in top chat. I've never noticed a difference, though. Yeah, I switch it back and like... Okay. So let me go back to what we were just talking about. What was I being asked about? I said about Ironfish. Yeah, I just not that knowledgeable about that particular. It's just a lot to know, and I have not looked into it since that initial. There was another comment that I was just talking about, and I lost my train of thought. Oh well. If it was answering your question, please re-ask it if I didn't answer it. All right, let's see. So the GPU behind me, basically, it is here, let me grab it. It is a flannel GPU. And the fans, well, they kind of spin. He actually said it works. It's like a 470 or something. So it's a really old card. But it's Sapphire Nitro. Which one was this one? I think it was an... Oh, and it does say on it, max voltage applied. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was an X470. So it is one of the treasures that I have from my watchers. All right, let me scroll down and see if Traveler's Travels. Oh, maybe he's not here anymore. Retro Mike Tech says I pay $1 per month for VPS on Ionos for my prenodes. Huh. And I know that used to be 1-in-1, wasn't it? I used 1-in-1 so many years ago for a couple of websites I developed. I will have to look into that because I do like that company. They were great. Oh my gosh, my pen does not want to write. Thank you, honey. No, it just doesn't want to write where I'm trying to write because it's on like plastic. There we go. But I got a pen out of the deal.
My Aquamariner pen is good. I take it back.
She took back the pen. Indian giver. Anyway, I will definitely look into that. So yeah, the Pecunia prenode has not been great. Its reliability score is like 52. When I was running it on Flux, my reliability score was like between 75 and 82, in that range, which is significantly higher, and it does affect what you get paid out. So it is extremely important. So I paid for 6 months, $12 worth. So I'm going to give it at least a month, but I may just like punt on it and try something else because it's bad. It's bad. It does not make me want to run a Flux node on it. So yeah, I don't know. That's just been my experience. I know other people like Pecunia. My first experience hasn't been great. And I haven't contacted support or anything like that. I have not. That's what a lot of people do. They try something, doesn't work. They don't contact anybody. They just be like, okay, I'm done. That's why it's important to make sure things work, because most people will just leave. And that's pretty much what I'm planning on doing. So anyway, but I will check that out. Retro Mike, and thank you for the $1.99 super chat. I appreciate it. So Sunflower Mama just said, yay, more yarn. So can you run, what would be the price if I tried to run a, not a Flux node, but a Neoxa node there? Would it be the same price? I don't know. I'll look at it. I know there's different requirements. I think there's more stringent requirements for a Neoxa node versus a pre-node. So probably would need more. Okay. Travelers Travel said, I sent Ovalbor a broken GPU like that and a piece of the same flannel. He built one just like it. Aw. Miss that, man. Did anybody go to the celebration of life on Sunday? Love to hear how it was. Retro Mike. It says, my reliability score with Ionis has always been in the 80s. I think one time it dipped to 78. Yeah, I mean, that's similar to Flux, but I think slightly better. As I think Flux is commonly can be between like 75 and 79 is typically what I've seen, not 78 to 82 type of range. So I am not hitting that vodka. Not hitting the vodka. I am just, like I said, I have a little bit of energy today. Just got riled up today for various reasons. Plus, I prepared yesterday, which was what I used to do. I'm going to try to get back to it. On Sundays, I prepare for the Monday streams with subjects. So that kind of molds in my brain overnight. Then I think about it at work. So I think it just makes for a better show. So I'm going to try to get back to that. Joker Miner says he did not make it to Minnesota. Yeah, it was quite a drive. So, yeah, it would have been a 5-hour drive for me as well, I believe. I don't know exactly where Medicine Lake was, but obviously it's in the Minneapolis area, I believe, but I'm just not sure how far outside it is. So not sure. All right. All right. AMA time. What do you guys want to talk about? I guess you guys have been kind of asking questions, so it's been pretty much AMA time already. I'm just going back to see if I maybe missed some questions that people didn't tag me. Oh, I heard Travels. Just curious if you ordered. Oh, did I order any of the Canon Avalon Nano 3 BTC miners? No, I did not. Kind of out of power at home. So if I'm going to be buying anything, I certainly wouldn't be buying anything for the home. I would be looking for something that I could host somewhere at this point. Yeah, if there was a way I could, the only thing I've been thinking about is maybe getting a little bit more dense with my vast rigs. Thinking that might possibly give me a better chance to be verified. I did have significant amount of time where I was not rented. And I've been told that should give me a better chance of being verified, but it should take like another 2 or 3 weeks before they decide. That's typically, you have a down week just starting out, and then 2 to 3 weeks later, you get verified because you were really verified during that first week. So I don't know. Somebody in the vast Discord suggested that. So I'm trying it. So I have definitely set everything higher because I'm like, if it stays off and it mines, I can sell it to Neoxa, which is another goal I have. And it'll be better chance of getting verified. And then basically realized that, yeah, actually, except for the 4070 and 4070 Ti, yeah, I was setting things too low, and now things are rented more than half the time at a higher rate. So with getting paid at a higher rate and then mining in the other time, I think I'm making more money by doing that. So yeah. So right now, like I was making like 15 cents to 16 cents on a 3090. Now I'm making like 18 to 19 cents. So setting it at a higher price, I've made one I'm making more than 20 cents on. The 8 GPU rig was rented for 50 cents. I've lowered it. Now I'm making about 45 cents per GPU per hour. And I say making it, you got to take the 25% out of that. Then obviously the cost of power, but it's been doing very well. Last week was definitely a very good week. Very good week. All right, lots of tags now. Let's see. Give me a smoky Dan. Let's talk about the meaning of life and why we are here. Jokes. Yeah, I didn't prepare a comedy routine, so I'll think about that next time. Vinny Del Greco, are you mining Filecoin or buying? I am buying. Filecoin for mining is basically more of a data center type of thing. You need large setups. It's kind of almost like on the other side of things, on the AI side. Hey, do you have a BitTensor rig that you're renting out? Well, no, because BitTensor requires a lot more substance, I guess, than just a 4090 and, just a regular CPU, everyday CPU. They're looking for A100s, not 4090s. So A100 is kind of the minimum, and that's like a $7,500 GPU. Puts the 4090 to shame, as far as that goes. How do you feel about pre-mining new coins? It's a strategy. Basically that computer back there is a Proxmox server, and I do have space on there now to put a, something that's segmented away. And now I have the VLANs set up to do it. So I now have a much safer environment to do that, to make sure it can't get out. If somebody got in, tried to start messing around, because there were, ways to get in through the wallet. The only thing they're gonna be able to mess around with is that VM. And maybe they'll try to break through the VM wall and try to get into the Proxmox server, but the Proxmox server is also VLAN'd off. So it's not perfect setup, but it certainly is a much safer setup than I had before. So certainly we'll be looking into possibly pre-mining coins. Right now, my goal though is get enough of whatever I'm mining to get over to Neoxa to get enough for the node. That's my goal right now. Tyson Coin said, do you do any extra driving for HiveMapper, or is it worth the gas? So last I had heard, and this is not through personal experience, it's just last I had heard, is, well, first of all, you're not paid for what I used to call virgin miles. You're driving on roads that haven't been driven on in a very, very long time. So I did that, but now you're not getting extra payouts for that. But you are, driving those types of roads, you do get paid more because they're less traveled. But I don't go out and just drive anymore. I did it a little bit, but not a ton. It was profitable, but I felt like I could make better use of my time than going out and just driving. If you feel like going out driving, hey, go ahead. Nothing wrong with that. But as far as the payouts go for HiveMapper, they have been coming down because they have more regions now. If you lived in a region and you were one of the people lucky enough to live in a region, you were making more. And think about it. There's a pool of honey that's getting paid out every week. That pool doesn't change. But now if more people are driving in regions, meaning that they're getting a higher percentage of the payout, well, the people that were in regions that means they're going to be making less. Now, with all that said, there's multipliers that come into play, and there's I forget what they called it. It wasn't hotspots, but they have like hey, we really need data from here. Go out and you're going to make more. So that's all announced in their Discord. So keep an eye on that. Maybe your area will be one of those areas. So, and then also on the Hivemapper website, you can see like what type of multiplier is for your region. So, but no, I am currently not just going out driving. I'm just driving basically from work and getting paid for from work, because to work, it's still too early. I start at 6:30 in the morning, and Hive mapping currently does not start mapping until 6:30 in the morning where I'm at. So give it another month. I might be able to get a little bit in the morning, maybe for half the trip. And then as we head into summer, as we get closer to June, I would imagine I'll be able to do it my whole trip for maybe like a month and a half, something like that. We'll see. All right. Retro Mike says File Station is free. It just validates files on the Filecoin network, and you earn file for providing proof of file accessibility. Well, I'm not super knowledgeable of it, but I thought you needed hardware in order to validate the files, and that hardware was like pretty extensive. And if you're saying otherwise, then obviously I defer to you. I'm sure you know more about it than I do. Give me a Smoky Dan says, I thought it was, yeah. Yeah. No, it is BitTensor, chump. BitTensor. It triggers me every time he says that. I'm like on the other side of the screen going, it's BitTensor. BitTensor. Think tensor cores, as in NVIDIA. Tensor cores. Bit. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, that is what Chump keeps saying. Retro Mike says, requires 1 virtual CPU, 1 gig of RAM, and 2 gig of storage. I run it on all my mining rigs and node machines. Really? Have you done a video on that? If you haven't, do one. Please. Please. Pretty please, with sugar on top. Tensor is not easy maths. Well, I figured you meant you could run it in Docker. I mean, you said 1 virtual CPU. I figured that would probably be the case. I mean, I suppose you run out of VM as maybe, but oh, he did. You did do a video? Okay. Well, I will make sure I go back and review those. Sorry, I don't have time to watch all the videos. I have a job to do. I think you just need to say it the right way, Chump. And oh, by the way, welcome to the stream as we're about ready to be done. Oh, has he? Oh, okay. I didn't see any comments from him, so. Now wrong 100% always. Yeah, now he's going to troll me on the stream. I know it. I know it. Alrighty, guys. I have been going 1 hour and 10 minutes. I will give it another 5, see if anybody's got any questions. But I think you guys are running out of questions. I think you are. I'm going to give it 10 seconds. 9, 8. No, I'm not going to do that. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to call it a night. Haven't seen a tag in a while, so appreciate you guys all for being here. Wow. Over 100 viewers right now. Thank you so much. What did I peak out at? Peaked out at 114. Wow, I'm at the peak. Holy cow. Please hit the like. Well, how many likes do I have right now? Yeah, it doesn't tell me on the regular studio version. 58 likes? Hit refresh. Okay. 58 likes and 113 people here?
66
What
likes.
kind of BS is that?
66.
Come on.
You're up to 66 now.
A whole 66.
Oh my
So
God.
all of you people,
They can
almost
take their
50
likes away.
people who haven't hit the like button.
They can take their likes away.
Yeah, they could. Well, that's what Chump would do. I'm sure that's what Hawk's doing right now. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you. Oh, okay, hold on a second. I see Todd Tebow says Linux or Windows. Well, my gaming setup, which is what I'm on right now, and I use gaming as a very loose term. I have Windows 10. Stop trying to make me go to Windows 11, Microsoft. Oh my gosh. I want to know how many people fell for the full screen Windows 11 and didn't see the little thing in the lower left that said, leave me on Windows 10. That was pathetic. That was a pathetic attempt to make people switch. On top of that, one of the updates was crashing. I shouldn't say crashing. It wasn't crashing the computers. It wouldn't go through. So an easy way to get around that would be just to upgrade to Windows 11, and then you wouldn't have that problem. But there was a solution, and they documented it, where you had to repartition your drive. I did that, and it works now. But most people aren't going to do that. Yeah. Come on, Windows, Microsoft. But no, I actually have a Linux. Actually, I have like a huge laptop back there that was my mother-in-law's, and it's old. So decided that I would just make it into a light Linux machine. Yeah, I can do videos, email, anything I want, basic computing tasks that don't need a lot of resources. So I put Linux on it. None of the bloat. And if I'm going somewhere, I can take it out with me. And it's got a nice big screen on it. Yeah, it works. I got another laptop that I could maybe do it with as well, but that one's a little bit older, so not sure I'll go through the trouble. But yeah, that was a little project I did a couple weeks ago. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on that eventually too. But anyway, alrighty. Let's see. Yeah, that is the last question. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. You guys have been great. And you guys all have a wonderful night. And don't forget to hit the like on the way out. And if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. Alrighty, guys. General is signing out. Have a good night.